if you don't believe in yourself, you can't believe in anything else.
Hey everybody, this is your leadership coach Glastinne, and in this video, you're gonna watch me coach one of my clients and help her to build her confidence muscle. See you in a bit.
Funny story. I used to be so annoyed when it came to approaching women, paranoid, just scared, out of my wits, for some reason. Now I don't know why, but for some reason I was. And I got tired of just seeing everyone dating these beautiful women and all this stuff and stuff like that. And I was always by myself. I got tired of that. And I asked myself one day, I said, what are you afraid of? She's another human being. She puts her pants on the same way you put your pants on. I mean, she's just another human being.
Right.
What are you afraid of? So I remember going to the mall and I said, I'm going to approach every beautiful girl that I see. And I was probably around 19, 20 at that time. And I was terrified. And I was like, what is this? And I felt like I was being imprisoned against my will.
Wow.
So I remember seeing this girl come out. Her name was Chelsea. She came out the mall. And she was just drop dead gorgeous girl. And I went up to her and I said,
did you know her?
Nope.
Okay.
I was like, hi. And she was like, hey, how you doing? And I was in Aventura, Miami. If anybody knows Miami, if you know Miami, you know Aventura.
Yeah.
And I'm from
The
Liberty
ball?
City. I'm from Liberty City.
Okay.
And completely,
Yeah.
I'm wearing some jeans and my, conventional basketball shoes on and everything, sneakers on. And she's probably, I think she was from Venezuela or something. Blonde girl, beautiful. And she was like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing here? I mean, she just took over the conversation.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm here, at the mall. And I'm like stuttering like crazy.
You're like, I didn't even know this was going to, yeah.
Because I'm so shocked that this girl is so.
I didn't think about the next step, right?
Yeah, easy to talk to. I mean, her green eyes just knocked me out of my socks. And so we stayed there talking, and she's like, hey, I'm going to my car and everything. Walk me to my car because I got to get home to my mom and everything.
Yeah.
So I walked into the car and we're talking, and she was telling me, she plays volleyball and everything. And I was like, that's why I like this girl so much. She's an athlete. Mm-hmm. And then after that, and she was like, okay, gotta go and everything. Hope to see you in the mall. And I left there so happy that I initiated the conversation. I could have been like, oh man, you didn't do this, you didn't do right, you didn't do this right. You should have done this, you didn't get the number. I started doing that later on.
Yeah.
But I could have started doing that, but I was so happy that I initiated.
You got the first step.
The conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went into the mall after I was finished talking to her. I was like on a roll now. And then I went to talk to this other girl. The other girl didn't give me as much play as Chelsea did. But then I went and talked to another girl. And then I went and talked to another girl. And I stayed at the mall just talking to different girls. And then I started to hang with this group of girls. And we were just going from store to store to store, just talking and talking with all 5 of them.
Right.
And everybody was looking at me like I was some sort of rock star and everything, because I had these 5 beautiful girls around me, and we were just talking and laughing and everything. And we went to the that open court where they sell the food and everything.
The food court, yeah.
Yeah, the food court. And they were like, "Hey, Glastinne, what are you having?" And I said, first I was like, you know, in my mind I was like, no, don't ask. They're gonna think you don't have any money, which I didn't.
Right.
And they were like, "What do you have?" And I was like, I have the kung pao chicken and that fried rice and everything. And they were like, "Yeah, give us 1 kung pao chicken and everything." And then they just came, gave me my plate, and we just sat down and ate.
Yeah.
And that day taught me a very important lesson. Taught me a very important lesson. That when you face your fears, the fear disappears.
Right.
There was no fear from that moment to this day.
Mm.
To this day, I can approach anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. If I want it, I go get it.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to go talk to the CEO of a company, somebody better stop me, because I'm going to talk to him or her.
Right.
If I'm going to talk to leadership, there's no fear.
Right.
I'll go into the office and close the door, even when they didn't tell me to close the door.
Right.
Be like, "Yeah, I'm just going to be here for a second. I just need to have a quick conversation with you."
Right. Right.
And they're like,
yeah.
Because I'm coming in there with such confidence.
Right. Right.
I'm coming in there with, I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable of who I am. I'm comfortable in myself. I'm seeing myself from a point where I'm a spirit looking through a body.
Right.
So no matter what you do out here, it doesn't bother me, because the only thing that can touch that spirit is love.
Right.
So no matter what you say or what you do, there's nothing that can touch that spirit except love.
Right.
You could like sometimes women are afraid that their intentions, they may be so confident that their intentions may be misinterpreted.
Right. Right.
But the essence of you, who you are, doesn't worry about that, because it cannot be touched.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be touched by anything other than love. It cannot be touched by anything other than good intentions. So you can come with anything that you want to come with, or any idea, but that thing that you are, it cannot be touched. That's why the Father will come and say, who told you that you were unworthy? Or who told you that you were not perfect? Or who told you that you weren't unique? Who told you that you were supposed to bow down to fear? Who told you that?
Because I sure didn't tell you that.
And I created you, so I should know.
Right.
All right, so before we end this thing, before this thing shuts down on me, go through the 3 steps again, and then so that we know that you're good.
And number 1 is quiet your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is get into the regiment, have time.
Every morning.
Yep.
If you miss a morning, do it in the afternoon. If you miss the afternoon, do it at night, but do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to get it from here into here.
Right. Right.
And the way you get into from here to here is number 3. Step 3 is what?
Discipline your mind.
No, step 3 is saying it to
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, so that's but meditate. So, okay, so number 1 is to quiet your mind, and okay, number 1 is quiet your mind. Number 2 is get into the regiment. Okay. I have discipline your mind, I have meditate, and then I have talk it.
Yeah, talking is number 3.
Okay. Yeah, I have it. Number 3 is talking.
Talking is affirmations, mantras. You got to just keep telling yourself who you are, because it's going to feel like a lie at first, but you just got to keep saying. You just got to keep telling yourself who you are. You got to keep programming yourself the same way that voice you let talk in your head that saying that you're unworthy.
Right.
Don't you realize that it just keeps talking?
Right.
It doesn't stop.
Right.
Because not only is it you program that voice, is that you convinced yourself that what that voice is saying is real, because it keeps repeating it.
Right. So you believe it. Yeah.
So now you have to put a different vocabulary, a different program, because that's the fascinating thing about life. You can reprogram yourself.
Right.
By telling yourself, reiterating that you're more than meets the eye.
Right.
That you're unique.
Right.
That you're worthy. That you deserve it. You deserve the best. That you are the best. That you are God's child. Look at Oprah. Look how confident she is when she said that I am a child of God. Right. There's no stuttering. There's no hesitation. Nothing. Because she's come from a place of believing and thinking that she believes to a place of knowing. And leaders, if you understand leaders know, because they lead. Great leaders lead from the heart. They don't lead from the head. Because most of the time, they don't know what they're doing.
You know what's happening, I think, too, is I have such a strong belief in God, but that needs to continue on and bleed out into the belief in myself.
Well, that's what one of the things that we just got to be careful about with religion, of really, of really taking things out of context. And sometimes we translate things on our own. We just make up these stories. Mm-hmm. We keep making stories of what we've heard.
Right.
And we're like, well, since I don't understand it, I'm going to just make this story up.
Right.
But the reality is that if you don't believe in yourself, you can't believe in anything else.
Right, exactly, because that's who God says you are.
So you can't believe in
what
anything
he says.
else.
Yeah, you either believe what he says or you don't. And if you don't believe that, then you really don't believe what he says.
Because if you were made out of his own image,
right.
Why would he make the image less?
Less, exactly.
He says you got to understand when you start reading a text like that says you're made out of a godly image. That's the highest, that level of notoriety.
Right.
That it doesn't get any higher.
Right.
But if you start making up a story that, yeah, maybe I wasn't. That's your story now.
Right. It's not the truth, but it's
because you couldn't create you.
But it's true to you, right?
Yeah, that's your story.
Mm-hmm.
That has nothing to do with the truth.
Right.
Your story does not have anything to do with the truth.
Right.
I'm a loser. I'm never gonna make it. I'm this. That has nothing to do with, I'm a child of God. I was born in it. You know, I'm unique. I'm greatness. I'm a champion.
Right.
Those two things are mutually exclusive. They have nothing to do with one another.
Right.
They're polarities.
Right.
They're states of consciousness. And you just gotta, because you came from the place where you knew who you were.
Right.
And someone convinced you to convince yourself that you were less.
Right.
Now you have to convince yourself again.
Right.
And come to the side where you're more. And you're gonna have to do the work to convince yourself.
Right. Right. Right.
And that work must be done every single day. It's not something that's gonna be easy. It's not something that's why it's so important that you hang around people that talk like this, that are confident. You hang around other women, you get other women
yeah, I just gotta find them though, really, because
that's
it's really,
in that whether they're in the government, your government board, whether they're officers, chief of police, whether they're like one of my mentors, she's the first lady at a mega church. I mean, wherever you just get around confident people.
Yeah.
People that's not going to allow you to be nothing less than who you are, and that's not afraid of your power.
Right.
Because that's the reason why we minimize our light. Because we think if we shine so bright,
right, we're gonna be alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. I mean, when you were talking, that's what I wrote down, is that you feel you are afraid that you're going to be by yourself.
Yeah, but the thing that we have to realize is that the brighter you shine, the more you allow others to shine too. You give others permission to shine.
Exactly. That's that quote. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's a calling.
Right.
For you to shine bright.
Right.
Because anything else is sin. You miss the mark.
Right. Because it's darkness, yeah.
You miss the mark. Because you're dealing with untruth. You're dealing with a lie.
Right.
It's a calling. It's a calling for you to shine bright. Because someone that you don't even know about yet, or that's in your world right now, is want to shine, but since they see you playing small, they've decided that playing small is the safest path.
Right.
And you didn't say a word.
Right.
It's just your energy that you're giving off.
Right.
You're giving off smallness.
Right.
Fear. And they're picking it up. And some of them are young. They don't know why they feel like that. They don't know why they feel depressed. They don't know why they think it's okay, but they're getting it off from you. But when you start to shine,
right,
now you're giving them permission to shine bright. Right. Now you're giving them permission to be awkward, to be unique.
Right.
To be themselves, to believe in themselves again. Now you're giving them permission.
Right. I think that's a statement for me that I'm gonna begin to, like an affirmation, that it's my calling to shine bright.
That's what your calling is.
Yeah.
That's what our calling is.
Yep.
That's what the fulfillment part, our purpose. Our purpose is not just to shine for ourselves.
Right.
It was never given to us for that.
Right, exactly.
The purpose of you winning is to give others permission that they can win. That's why we get so motivated when we see others winning.
Right. And it's a path. It's a path. It's like you put light onto the path. You put light onto the darkness. It enlightens that for them to be able to come to.
Exactly, because now they can see the path now. They couldn't see it before. They
Right.
couldn't see it before because they couldn't understand, how can a woman like me coming from my circumstances win? How can a guy like me coming from where I came from, how can he win? But when you see someone else that came from the same place.
But what do you think that is? Do you think that is everyone's calling? Do you think they're select people? What do you think?
You know, I once read something that says, all are called. All are called.
Yeah.
The calling is for everyone. Because everyone is the calling.
Right. So, but few were chosen, but the chosen.
The chosen doesn't mean that the Father or some creator chose.
You choose.
You're choosing every day. That's why
You
the man says,
right?
choose ye this day.
Right.
So when you're choosing to feel unworthy, you have chosen. In other words, you count yourself out. You are never counted out.
Right. So because many are called, but few are chosen. That's a scripture. But so many are called, but the few are choosing. Right. Don't you think what that means?
Many are called, meaning all.
All,
if you
right,
some
exactly.
interpretations,
Right.
They'll tell you all are called.
Right.
And then when you start looking into few are chosen, it just means that others have made up their minds, not have ignored the call.
Right.
They either ignore the call or they chose not to. They chose to believe something else, because the call is truth.
Right.
The call is let your light so shine.
Right.
That's the call. Now, if you don't want, if you see yourself as undeserving and small, then you've made your own choice.
Right. Right.
There's nothing outside of you that's saying that, I created you. I spent all this time, all this. When you start looking at a human being coming from one cell, and the divisions and everything that has to be made for that human being to be created, if you can still see yourself as insignificant, wow, that's amazing to me.
Right.
Because why would life go through all of that trouble to bring you into this planet just for you to realize that you were unworthy?
Right.
That doesn't make no sense.
Right.
It's a lie.
Right. You're dispelling darkness. Yeah.
You're creating your own hell on earth.
Right.
You chose. That's why the man said, as for me and my house, that's why it was said like that. Because when somebody understands that they're called, somebody understands that they have a calling upon their life, if somebody understands that they are called into leadership, if somebody understands that they are called to motherhood, if somebody understands they are called to be that manager, if somebody understands that they are called to be that pioneer, if somebody understands they are called to stand up for those who can't stand up for themselves, when somebody understands that and they step into that role, they have chosen to let their light shine. Why do you think people follow leaders? Because leaders let their light shine, and it gives them permission to let their light shine too.
Right. Subconsciously, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the call.
Mm-hmm.
That's the call. And once you let your light shine, you get more confidence. You get more and more confidence. The more confident you are, the brighter your light shines.
Right. It's so true. Yes.
because it attracts people to you. People love confidence. You walk up to somebody confident, they just like you for some reason.
Right.
You're doing business for somebody, they just like you.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking for a certain amount of money, they just give it to you. You say you can do something, they're like, cool. Like there's a lot of things for the government that they asked me to do. I had no clue how to do it.
Right.
But I was like, I'll figure it out. And they trusted me, and I did it. I did it. I did it. And they're thanking me every single day. I can't tell you how many times I get emails a day thanking me for something that I didn't even know how to do a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That I was just scared. But the same moral incident keeps happening into my life, and I just keep facing it. And sometimes, let me tell you this, sometimes it's going to take you some time to face it. But you just keep being good to yourself, keep giving yourself enough time, keep doing the work, quieting your mind, having those regiments, just talking to yourself, saying those affirmations, just keep doing them.
Yeah.
And the program will change. It doesn't change in a day. It doesn't change in 2 days. And when it starts changing, you're just going to be acting on it and you're not even going to know it. And then later on, you're going to be like, wow, I just did that. Because now the subconscious has picked it up.
Right.
So it doesn't need you to be conscious of it anymore.
Right.
And you got to keep doing that. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop in a year. It doesn't stop in 2 years. It doesn't stop in 3 years. You got to keep telling yourself, because you're going to feel inadequate sometimes. You're going to feel less deserving sometimes. You just got to keep telling yourself that you are deserving.
Right.
That you are worthy. That only love can come to me. That I got this. Because greater is greater. It's greater. The man told me one time, he said, greater is he who is in thee. Greater. I don't care what's out there in the world. You're greater than it.
Yep. Yep.
I don't care what you face. You're greater. You are pure love in flesh. You are the word made flesh. The word, what's the word? Love. You are it made flesh. You are a born leader. Got that?
Got it.
Good. All right. So you should be good for you should be good. I mean, I really honed in on some stuff that I wanted to hone in on. I've gotten value from what I'm saying, and I'm the one teaching it, and I'm getting value from it. So I know confidence is something that we all struggle with.
Yeah.
And it's totally okay, and just know that that it's like a muscle. We have to build.
I love that.
If you want to get more leadership tips that can help you on your leadership journey, check out this video right here. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'll see you there.